Absolutely. So what we were doing there was moving on from lesson 7. We were developing the accents so that we could create more interesting fills. And in fact, not just fills, but musical phrases. So that was the essence. So what we're doing here in this lesson, lesson 8, as you said,
indeed,
is we are developing our ability to play accents with both hands, but to mix them within a bar and over numbers of bars. So lots of different accents to create these musical phrases.
I like the sound of it all.
Great. Now you'll probably remember that in part 1 we looked at how you build up to create a phrase. So firstly we looked at a snare drum pattern, we looked at the position of the accents, then we decided that with the position of the accents, that actually gives you a unique way of playing those accents, with the beat and the and always played with the right hand, and e's and r's always played with the left hand.
That's a simple rule, but I mean, probably something that some drummers may overlook for weeks and weeks and months, and then it just clicks.
If you know about it, you can apply it. So, one of the reasons why we've introduced it at this relatively early stage, I mean, still at grade 1 and we're playing musical phrases, so very important skill for the drummer. So, as always, we've now have created a musical phrase. Drumming in general, as I've said before, I mean very generally, is made up of grooves and our fills. So grooves and our phrases in this case, or grooves and our interesting phrases.
I.e. the fills.
Correct. So what we're going to do now is actually take the phrase that we've learnt and the fill that we've learnt and apply it with groove, so that we can move fluently between grooves and phrases. So incorporate that into our playing. Now, at the end of part 1 of lesson 8, we looked at moving the accents onto the floor tom and up to the high tom with our right hand and our left hand. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to try and play the phrase that we looked at the beginning of the lesson by putting a groove in front of it and putting the phrase afterwards. So what I'd like to do first is have a look at the video of the clip of the exercise that we're going to play.
No problemo.
Which is exercise 3 here.
Are you just reminding yourself what you're supposed to be doing?
Absolutely.
What every good student should do.
Correct. Here we go. So here's the groove. Onto the low tom, up to the high tom, and then back to the groove again. So, don't forget the importance of the groove in all of this, to make sure that you've got the necessary fluency. The groove and the fill, and then back to the groove, and so on. Okay, great. So having had a look at the exercise itself and how it should be played, what I'd like to do now is build up that ability to move between the groove and the phrase by playing along with the extractor as usual. And we're going to focus on the fluency, and to do that I'm going to slow the tempo of the exercise down. I'm going to use the tabletop drum kit here, so that we can perhaps record into the computer, see how accurate my performance is, and perhaps might make a deliberate mistake here and there and see how that looks on our analysis when it comes up.
Brian, is that a deliberate mistake?
Well, can we wait and see what happens?
Fine.
Okay, so here we go. Let's drop the tempo down. Nice comfortable 60 beats per minute.
Yep.
Okay, let's play the exercise, 4-bar count, and play along with the file. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a... One more time through, I think.
Okay, don't make any mistakes now, Brian.
Okay. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Trying to put me off. So unkind. Okay, so we've recorded the performance in there. Let's see what comes up on the screen. But basically that was okay. And one of the things that I was really trying to demonstrate here is that the actual movements and the motions are as relevant here as they are on this kit, and in fact our Roland electronic kit there. So whatever you're playing on, whether it even may be the mouse mat that I described in one of our earlier lessons where you've drawn the drums on, or you were talking about turning tin pots upside down, the same
cheap way to do it.
The same movements apply. So if you haven't got loads of really nice gear, you can still practice.
Does it matter that it's obviously, I mean, to look at it, it is smaller?
Yeah. Well, It does to some extent, but not significantly. As I say, the movements are still the same motions.
Yeah.
Okay, you may have to make larger motions on the kit because you've got a greater distance between the drums, but the actual ability to move from this to this is not really a big issue.
The skill and the sort of technique is the same.
Yes, it is the same.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking at here. So whatever you're playing, or what I'm basically trying to say is whatever you're playing on, it's the same skill. You're not changing the skill. The innate skill remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just take that to full screen there. So, okay, a couple of interesting things that come out firstly. 55.47%.
Well, percentages out of 100, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. So,
but did you only do half the exercise?
I didn't get all the way through the exercise, so it's only scored me out of what I played.
It's a good excuse.
However, let's have a look at what's come up here. Firstly, it's picked up the hi-hat pedal being depressed by me.
Ah, okay.
Before the exercise started, so it's a good idea, to get in position, have the hi-hat down before you start playing. Okay, the first bar, the timing here with the greens and the yellows is okay timing, but not perfect. So you can see how sometimes to get into an exercise it takes a while to settle. That's my excuse.
And you're sticking to it.
And I'm going to stick by it. So most of this first bar of phrasing was pretty good, as we can see by all the black notes here.
Yeah.
But one vaguely astray note here, this green.
And what was wrong with the green note?
Well, the green note there, it's the correct note. It's very close to where it should have been in terms of timing. But looking at the screen, it looks as if it's a little late.
Right.
Just a minuscule late. Green is good, so it's probably imperceptibly late.
To the human ear.
To the human ear.
But not to the computer ear.
No, the computer doesn't let you get away with anything. In fact, the computer's even noticed here in bar 1 that I should have played 3 but I only played 3.
Right.
So I missed a note out there. Or the bass drum pedal didn't pick it up. I'll work on the latter principle for the moment. So bar 5, as we can see here, let me point to bar 5. Yep, that's pretty much on the nail. But it looks like I made a real ham fist of getting out of that phrase there.
You've got extra notes in there.
Well, in fact, actually, yes, these notes are late. This note here wasn't played, so I've missed a note, and it looks like I played it at the beginning of the next bar.
So indeed that 55% might have been out of 100.
Well, it could well have been by this particular disappointing performance. But it goes to show when the notes aren't quite in the right place, if you hit the notes incorrectly, then it's going to show on here. You can go back, listen to the file, and see how you're getting on. Just to finish off on here, most of these notes are in the right place. A little bit of slack timing here, just going into the goods. Slight yellow of early on the bass drum here in bar 10.
Yeah. I mean, by using this, you're perfecting yourself. You're making it spot on, aren't you?
Yeah, it's detailed analysis, isn't it? So you can be really harsh on your performance. And the idea is not to be harsh in the sense of to judge yourself harshly, but if you are actually looking and hearing and trying to establish, look, where am I going wrong? Why doesn't this feel quite right? Why is my timing not right? How can I improve my flow and my fluency in the playing? Then you are going to be wanting more information, and this is a handy feedback.
Yeah.
Now, of course, what you should do is definitely listen back to the file. So if I just get the analyzer out of the way a second, let's listen to the file quickly. I'm going to mute the perfect performance and listen to the slightly less than perfect performance that was mine. Let's see if we can notice those errors that I made.
No, we'll do.
There was a hi-hat. Yeah, definitely late coming in there. Slightly late on that note, that green note there. Whoa!
Something there.
Horribly wrong there. Caught something out.
Late.
A bit late. Yeah? So the analysis is reinforcing exactly what goes in there. So if you're playing a little bit sloppily, it's going to pick it up. You can hear it back. You can see where your mistakes are being made.
I mean, always the way you improve is by figuring out where you've gone wrong. Because if you don't know where you've gone wrong, then there's no way of getting better.
Well, exactly. That's why we've taken time over this particular exercise to look at the analysis side of what we're doing here, to feedback to ourselves the performance and how we're developing. You'd look to go again and say, right, okay, I need to tighten that up. I need to make sure I'm playing my beats in the right place. The technique is fundamentally there. It's all happening. Let's improve that. Let's make it better. Let's tighten the timing up, get the flow between the grooves and the fills, and ensure that we're actually making those transitions comfortably. Okay, so what we've done is we've actually gone through the building up process of creating more interesting fills in this lesson.
Okay, what if we want to practice those?
Well, if you want to practice it, of course, with the lesson notes and the patterns and the exercises, go through those, repeat them over and over. But we've looked at the building blocks. So this approach that we've taken, this step-by-step approach, applies to all the creation of all phrases. So the lesson, the Gigajam lesson, has more exercises for you to go through, and hopefully what we've managed to do today is explain the process of creating more interesting phrases, mixing them up and turning them into musical fills.
Brian, I couldn't put it better myself.
Glad to hear that.